Welcome to Cheat Sheet Tale, where secrets slip, lies unravel, and the truth always has a twist. Real stories, raw confessions, and shocking betrayals. Drop a comment if you've ever caught a red flag too late now. Let's get into today's tale, My E. Husband secretly refinanced our home and gave the money to his mom, saying, "You'd do the same if you had a heart." I just smiled and said, "That's cute." The next morning, they found an empty house and a legal notice that had them screaming. I never imagined that the home we built together would become the battleground for betrayal nestled in the suburbs of Charlotte, North Carolina. Our house was more than just bricks and mortar. It was a symbol of our shared dreams and hard work. I, a nurse working long shifts at the local hospital, and my husband Ethan, a freelance graphic designer, had poured our hearts into, making it our sanctuary. It started subtly. Ethan became increasingly secretive, often stepping out to take calls or closing his laptop when I entered the room. I dismissed it as work-related stress, but a nagging feeling persisted. Our finances, once a topic of open discussion, became taboo. One evening, while sorting through the mail, I stumbled upon a letter from our mortgage lender. Curious, I opened it and was shocked to find a notice confirming the refinancing of our home loan. The loan amount was significantly higher, and the terms were unfamiliar. My name was absent from the documents confronting Ethan. He confessed he had refinanced the house and given the money, over $100, or to his mother, who was facing financial difficulties. "You'd do the same if you had a heart," he said, justifying his actions. I was speechless. That night, as Ethan slept soundly, I lay awake, my mind racing. I realized that trust had been shattered and our marriage was beyond repair. I decided to take control of the situation. The next morning, Ethan and his mother found the house empty. I had moved out, taking only my personal belongings. On the kitchen table, I left a legal notice I had filed for divorce and reported the unauthorized refinancing to the authorities. The legal proceedings were arduous. Ethan faced charges for fraudulently refinancing the mortgage without my consent. His mother was ordered to repay the funds. The house, now a symbol of betrayal, was sold, and the proceeds were used to settle the debts. It started anew, renting a small apartment and focusing on my career. The experience taught me the importance of financial independence and the strength to stand up against betrayal. After I moved out and filed for divorce, I thought things would settle. They didn't. Ethan didn't take it well at all. The man who once cried watching puppy videos turned into someone I didn't recognize. First, he showed up at my job not once, 3 times, once in the parking lot, once during my shift pretending he was there for a checkup, and once sitting in the break room talking to my coworker like everything was normal. He said he wanted to talk. I said everything he needed to hear was in the divorce papers, but there's where it started getting really weird. A week later, I got a call from a number. I didn't know it was from a woman named Tessa. She said she used to date Ethan. I was confused until she dropped this bomb. "I thought you should know this. Isn't the first time he's done this." She told me Ethan had bought a condo with a woman he was dating 5 years ago, refinanced it behind her back, and ran off with the money. That case never went to court because the woman moved states and let it go. I asked Tessa how she knew about my situation. She said Ethan's mom had been bragging about how her son saved her life to someone at church, and it got around. Tessa still had friends in town, and one of them knew me. I sat in my car after that call and stared at the dashboard for a long time. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a pattern. The next twist came from someone I least expected. Ethan's little brother, Lucas. We never talked much before. He was the cool uncle type. Piercings, tattoos, gig workery. Thought he didn't like me. But one night, I got a message from him on Facebook. He said, "I know this is weird, but I need to tell you something. Can we meet?" We met at a diner off I-85. Lucas looked nervous. He had a folder with him. He slid it across the table. Inside were screenshots, text messages, emails, even a photo of a check made out to cash. Ethan had planned the refinance with his mom months before he ever did it. They had talked about how to hide it from me. There was even a text from Ethan saying, "She's too busy working, she won't notice." Lucas said he found the texts when he was helping Ethan move files from an old phone. He said he didn't want to get involved, but watching Ethan spiral made him feel sick. He also said Ethan told his mom he was going to take me for everything. That was the moment something in me snapped. I went back to my lawyer and gave her everything. The texts, the emails. Lucas even agreed to sign an affidavit. But I wasn't done yet. You see, Ethan's mom had claimed financial hardship when she took that money. She said she needed help to save her house. But I had a friend who worked at a title company, and I asked her to run a check, turns out. Ethan's mom had sold her house 3 months before the money was sent. She wasn't struggling. She bought a condo in Florida in cash. That's when it all clicked. I was never supposed to find out. They had planned to sell the house, eventually take whatever was left, and vanish probably to Florida, I reported. Everything, every single thing, to the DA's office. I also handed over all the new evidence at this point. It wasn't just a messy divorce. It was fraud conspiracy. Just when I thought I had everything, I got a letter in the mail that sent a chill down my spine. It was from the county registrar's office. Addressed to me inside was a notification that a lien had been placed on the house. The house I had already moved out of the house that was now the subject of a divorce fraud case and civil claim. The lien wasn't from a banker. The government, it was from a person. And that person was Isabella Cruz. I had no idea who that was. I called their registrar's office and they told me Isabella Cruz had filed paperwork claiming partial ownership of the home on the grounds that she had loaned Ethan $20 to help him buy it. I had questions, a lot of them my lawyer did a little digging, and guess what? Isabella wasn't just anyone she was. Ethan's sex no-tan ex from 5 years ago, an ex from last year. While we were still together, I found Isabella, well, I didn't have to try too hard. She had already reached out to him through my lawyer the moment she heard the DA was investigating Ethan. Turns out she didn't just lend Ethan money. She had proof of it, bank statements, texts, pictures, a selfie of the two of them kissing in our kitchen, from a date that lined up with when I was on a weekend shift at the hospital. Isabella was angry not just because of the money, but because Ethan had promised her they'd be starting a new life together in my house with my name still in the mortgage. She had also given him money to help with the refinance fees. She thought she was investing in their future when she found out he was married. The whole time she lost it. She agreed to testify. She had nothing to lose, but she also gave me something I wasn't expecting, a copy of a note Ethan wrote her after the refinance went through. It said, "We'll be out of here in 3 months. She'll never know what hit her." If you're wondering how Ethan managed to refinance the house without my signature, yeah, I was wondering that too. Turns out he had help. My lawyer found the name of the notary who supposedly witnessed my signature on the refinance papers. Only problem, I'd never met the guy. We subpoenaed the notary records. The signature on the documents didn't match mine. In fact, they were sloppy, different handwriting entirely, but the notary had still signed off on it when we pushed harder. We found out that the notary was also Ethan's high school friend who now worked part-time for a shady accounting firm in town. When he was questioned, had admitted off the record that Ethan told him I couldn't make it that day and asked him to do him a favor: forgery, fraud, perjury. We passed all of it to the DA's office right when I thought we were done digging. I got a message from Lucas. Again, he said he had one more thing he'd found when he was helping Ethan clear out the basement. It was a flash drive, and it had everything, spreadsheets, showing how Ethan was planning to split the refinance money between his mom, Isabella, and himself. Emails where he talked about creating a clean break, a list of dates and times that matched up with when I was working. He had mapped out my schedule so he could sneak Isabella into the house. There was even a draft email where he talked about opening a joint account in his and Isabella's name funded with my house. Lucas was shaken. He said he didn't know how deep it went until he saw it for himself. Now I had everything: documents, texts, emails, statements, and multiple witnesses. I was ready for the court battle, but there was one thing I hadn't told anyone yet. Not even my lawyer, a little surprise I'd been working on in the background. You see, Ethan had committed mortgage fraud and conspiracy, but he'd also hidden money, and thanks to a forensic accountant I hired behind the scenes, we found out where Ethan had opened a crypto wallet 6 months ago. He'd converted nearly $40,000 of the refinance money into crypto and transferred it out to a wallet registered under a dummy LLC in Florida. He thought it was untraceable, but it wasn't. By the time we got to court, Ethan looked like a shadow of himself. He came in wearing a cheap suit and that same fake smile he always used. When he was about to lie, his mom didn't show up. Isabella did so, did Lucas, and yeah, so did the press. Apparently someone tipped them off, not saying it was me, but it was me. The courtroom was quiet until the evidence started rolling in: emails, texts, bank transfers, crypto wallet transactions. Isabella's testimony hit hardest. She spoke in a calm, steady voice, about how Ethan promised her a life built and stolen dreams. She even held up that selfie of them in my kitchen while I was working an overnight shift. Then came Lucas, who choked up while reading one of the texts between Ethan and their mom. It said, "She's too tired to fight back. We're already halfway out the door." That stung because it was true. At the time, I was tired. I was working 12-hour shifts and coming home just to be lied to and robbed in my sleep. But I wasn't tired anymore. Not now. Ethan was found guilty on multiple counts: mortgage fraud, forgery, conspiracy to defraud, and wire fraud the notary. He got charged too. But his sentence was lighter. Ethan's mom, the court, issued a lien on her new condo in Florida to recover part of the money she'll, so got slapped with aiding and abetting. Isabella sued Ethan for the money he promised her. Lucas cut ties with both his mom and brother and me. Well, here's where it gets messy. Yeah, I won, but I wasn't perfect either. I stayed quiet too long. I ignored the signs. I brushed off my instincts. I even let Ethan take over the finances because I was too busy and trusted he would handle it. It let my exhaustion talk me into believing he cared as much as I did. That was my mistake. I paid for it, and I paid again. When the IRS audited me for their finance, I never approved it. Took months and a lot of paperwork to clear my name. That was my lesson. Don't hand over your power. No matter how much you love someone, I took every cent the court awarded me and bought a new place. But not just any place. I bought a small fixer-upper on the same block as Ethan's cousin, the one he always bragged about. Impressing, I gutted the place and turned it into a cozy little duplex. 1 unit for me, 1 for rent, and guess who? Applied for the unit without knowing who the landlord was. Ethan's ex-best friend who dropped him. The second things got too ugly. I approved his application, let him move in. And then one morning, I mailed him a copy of the court verdict, just to remind him who owns the keys. Now petty. Maybe. But after what I went through, I get to be petty Ethan. Got 5 years. He'll probably get out in 3 when he does. He won't have a house, a girlfriend, or a dime. His mom had to sell the Florida condo to pay her legal fees. Isabella moved to Colorado. Lucas and I still talk once in a while. As for me, I sit on my porch with a cup of coffee every morning, watching the sun hit the trees. I've got peace now and power. That house they tried to steal from me. It made me into someone they never saw coming. The quiet, tired wife they thought was too weak to fight back. Yeah, she's gone. Now it's just me, stronger, smarter, and never letting anyone write my story but me again.